Weighing in at 8,070 pounds, which when you see the total interior size and storage capacity of this, not too bad. Open range 319 land and used here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. Folks updating, upgrading, and I tell you what, they took care of this thing. They added slide-out awnings. They added window awnings over the main slide windows to use them on a rainy day. You can see the strong arm stabilizer jacks up front. What you're not going to see is problems and damage. Now, there is one weird thing I want to get out of the way real quick. I don't believe it's anything to be scared of, but I believe, well, you definitely need to know about it just because it's so uncommon. I don't want someone showing up here and being like, oh, you liar, you never told me about that. So you see these slide awnings. Those were professionally installed, not here at Haylett RV. I'm not sure where it was. Frankly, it doesn't matter. They were professionally installed by a dealership. And when I look at the handiwork that they did here, overall, it looks pretty darn good. Like, I see the rubber gaskets and everything under all the hardware exactly like you're supposed to have. However, you see that extra line of screws right above that window? They're a little bit small. And they're really well done. They're perfectly level. They didn't overscrew them. They didn't crack the fiberglass. And I was like, what is going on with that? I wondered if maybe the cabinet above the sofa fell at some point, and this is how they fixed it. But I found out what happened by talking to the previous owners when they traded this in. When they had these window awnings installed, the dealership initially measured incorrectly. And you see that white rail at the top there where that awning mounts to? Well, they screwed up and they measured too low, and that's where they originally installed it. Well, they removed the rail, reinstalled it properly, and what they did so that there wouldn't be an issue with it is they basically pumped their previous screw holes full of like silicone or whatever, and then they, carefully put new screws back in. So it's not something that you have to worry about water seeping into. I think if it were me, I would personally put some dots of non-sag sealant on top of it just as an extra layer of protection. I don't believe it's anything that you need to be worried about. But we're not talking about spending my money, are we? No, we're talking about spending your money here. And whenever that's the case, if I see something, I will say something, and I make sure that you are properly informed and aware to the best of my ability so that you can make a better and more educated purchase decision when you visit us here at Haylett RV. And I hope you appreciate that kind of clarity and transparency. If you do, hit that little subscribe button, follow along, and let's hop inside because there's nothing but good news on this one. Now, on the surface, this model really kind of just looks like another couple's fifth wheel. It's nice that it has these opposing slides, but the thing is there's a couple kind of easily missed qualities that once you key in on them really make it unlike anything else. So first of all, that's a rolling island. That can be there, move around, you can do with it whatever you please. It's very functional, very flexible, and since it doesn't have a sink buried into it, it means it's nothing but storage and prep space, which is really, really nice. Also, this is a 100-inch wide body RV. It's 8'4" wide instead of just 8 feet wide. Now, 4 inches doesn't sound like a massive difference on one of these, but when you couple that with the fact that we also have not one, but two 42-inch deep slides, which is 6 inches deeper than normal, suddenly now we have an RV whose living room is 16 inches wider than anything else even remotely close to this class. So this RV gets huge, not long, but wide. It gives you that big, awesome living space. And you see carpetless stuff all over the place. Open range was really one of the first ones to kind of pioneer that. It's since really that torch has been picked up and really kind of, I think, perfected by groups like Jayco and Coachman and Keystone that you find here at Haylett RV. But I think you're going to see more and more carpetless moving through the industry. All Furrion Entertainment means that they all talk to one another through an audio return channel. That's when sometimes you see HDMI ARC. That means audio return channel. It basically lets all the components talk to one another. So if you just pop in a DVD, it'll be, oh, okay, you want to watch DVD, no sweat. Electric space heating, fireplace below. And since the slide is extra deep, and you notice how it's carpetless right there, the whole thing, it's like a walk-in slide out. It just really, truly expands and extends everything. All the windows open for airflow. That's a huge 3-seat sofa back there. It's an airbed style hide-bed. Open Range was the last brand to move away from those, but it's also because they were also the brand that always used the best quality airbed out there that didn't really just constantly suck, and that was the Aerobed brand. The the cheap Chinese knockoff kind of things. Not that there can't be good components from China, just in the case of the airbeds used by the RV industry, they were not good. Those didn't last very long, typically. Big theater seat over here. Like, this is big, plush. And it's funny because this is one of those things on camera. I don't know that it really translates well. You can't see where it looks much different, but when you get into it in person, you can tell. And I don't know if you've noticed, but man, this thing's got the windows. It's got the windows everywhere over here. Massive panoramic viewing windows around the dining. And look at the window in the door. Now, the door window slides open and close. So if you want the screen door effect, you got it. It also has a privacy shade. And I always thought that was the best entry door I'd ever seen. And I've never understood why it was not more popular. It just really always kind of baffled my mind right there. Now, kitchen storage. This thing's got plenty of it. Real quick note up top, though. You saw the skylight earlier. Did you take note also of that like Max Air style vent fan up top, giving us some really good airflow? And again, kitchen storage is something this has plenty of. But the crazy part is it actually starts right over here back at the entertainment center. Because the TV's on a set of gas struts. It flips up, and if I get down here, you can see there's an open shelf for entertainment expansion, plus a shelf up top. So if you're going to use it as pantry space, it's not the most convenient thing, but you can also put some big stuff in there that you can't fit, well, normally wouldn't fit elsewhere, but I mean, look at this thing. There's not much you can't fit in here. Frankly, I thought that this RV, pound for pound, per square inch, this thing had probably more kitchen storage capacity than anything else I think I've ever seen. The total cubic foot of capacity in this is nuts. You got all these drawers. I mean, they all open up like that big monster bottom drawer there. You got a cool little symmetrical kitchen space around the oven as well. Big drawer below, double cabinets on either side, and that trend continues as you move up past the microwave as well. All the cabinetry is hidden hinges. It's all pocket screws. It all looks good. It's all built well. It's all held up remarkably well. They've just done such a good job here. The main kitchen sink area over here is a sealed edge pressed membrane countertop. I will mention the rest of this is T-molded, but you won't find any issues from the previous owners on it. They obviously did a great job taking care of it. Tons of drawers in this thing. I mean, have you looked at, counting up all the drawers? What do you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 8 drawers, not including pantry doors, like just normal kitchen drawers in this thing. Dedicated space for a wastebasket down below. Little toe kick right in front of the sink. When this RV was new, when we carried them at Haylett RV, I would often refer to it as a best-in-class kitchen, and it kind of cheesed off some of the other RV brands that we carried here. But I mean, look at this thing. Tell me there's a better kitchen in a smaller space than this one, and I don't know that I'm going to agree with you. And that's personal. It's subjective, very much so, obviously, but just take a second, soak it in, and try to count up all of the spaces. It is remarkable what you can put into this thing. Now here in the bathroom, this is one of the rooms where that wider body really helps. Like, that extra 4 inches kind of makes or breaks us. You see that, I mean, it's huge. It's a big double door linen cabinet. I've got half of it open right now. So if you peek in there, you can see some washer dryer hookups. That's an interesting thing. This was one of the smallest fifth wheels produced at its time, way ahead of its time, I think, that was washer dryer capable. Now, to do that, like if you want to put a combo down here, you need to remove the doors, you need to remove the stiles, which is the cross member portion basically of the cabinet, and it's going to stick out a little bit, but you can do it in a fifth wheel that normally that was just not possibly available. A big corner shower, you can see how the floor of that's recessed, and I wanted to just give you a look in it so you can see it's not all dirty, it's not gross. They didn't, muck this thing up. I bumped that door. I'm not going to lie, it scared me. I don't know if you saw the camera jump, but it kind of startled me. Big sink here too. But I like those corners around that sink. That's a perfect space for toothbrushes, all that kind of stuff. Big medicine cabinet too. Man, look at this. Now if I spin us around a little bit, try to do it slowly so I don't make you motion sick. You can see a couple of these little, towel hanging hooks right here. Plus, ooh, one of the drunken octopus boxers over here on the door holding some towels for us as well. So we have plenty of room to hang things up if need be. We have plenty of cabinet space. We have a porcelain foot flush stool down here in the corner. But that means it's just got tons of open legroom and floor space. This is a very fluffy, friendly model. Now in the bedroom, there's a bit of housekeeping I want to put out there. This mattress is not the one that came with this RV. It's not the one that the previous owners used. It's a replacement. Previous owners had a very, very nice bed in here. They wanted to take it with them. So we just kind of replaced it with what we had loose on hand, which was unfortunately a camp queen. And this is designed for a true queen. You may notice how there's a little bit of a gap there up at the top. Well, here's the way that I look at this. And we can tackle this a number of ways, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to present you some options here. So this is a replacement camp queen, and it is a pre-owned mattress. This is something that we just had on hand. Somebody bought a used RV, didn't want the mattress, left it here. We just swapped it in real quick because he had it. Now, here's the thing, the way I look at it. Most people, myself included, if I was going to get a used RV, I'm not a germaphobe, but I'm not really keen on sleeping on someone else's sweat and skin and whatever. Well, I would replace this regardless. So, if that makes sense to you, great. If it doesn't, you're like, I don't know, buddy. It feels like you're reaching. I respect your opinion. Know that we are surrounded by furniture and mattress stores, and we can get you anything. Just because this is the mattress you see in the video now doesn't mean it's the one that has to be there when you take it home. TV could mount on the wall here, and I see where the previous owner did install one, so it looks like they took their hardware with them, but at least you know where to put it. Now, Open Range was one of the first ones like this. You might notice how they don't have side hanging closets on either side of the bed. Instead, what they did is that kind of spaceship-looking nose cap. They really utilize like every nook and cranny of that thing to maximize the storage space up there while still making it look and feel nice and wide open. We'll get to the hanging storage in a minute. You might notice how the side stands are not the same size, and there's a funny gap right there. That's because this is on a sliding bed system. It's on like a gas strut as well. When that big, deep closet and dresser slide closes, it will push the bed off center over here toward the door side of the RV. Then when you get to your destination, it'll slide itself back. At worst, you got to nudge it a little bit with your foot, but you're good to go. So it gives you a north-south bed while still giving us this huge closet slide. And there's plenty of room to walk around in here. And did you notice a second centralized air conditioner built optional from the factory. So this thing has the maximum cooling package available. Now with the slides closed on this one, you're not going to be able to get back to the kitchen. They come right up next to this kitchen countertop. You can't get through. But what I did want to show you is what you do with it in transit. Because remember, we have that rolling island right here. It actually stows, just like this, between the table and the theater seat in transit. And I love how the previous owners, you can see, they strapped. I didn't do any of this. This is how the RV actually looked when it arrived. You're actually watching these segments sometimes in a different order from when I record them. So this is what it looked like the moment they arrived, opened up the slide. They have everything strapped down exactly as you're supposed to. And I like how they also add the little pool noodle bumpers right here. One time I went to a, Chinese restaurant and I was like, hey, send nudes. But I meant more like, noodles, but hey, whatever. You get the idea. This is what you do with this in transit. You stack the chairs on top of one another, you roll the island over into the slide, and you secure everything down. But it also does kind of bring to light again, if you don't care about that island, if you just want it out of the way, it makes this RV look and feel absolutely massive in here because there's just no blocky bulkiness in their way. But I do like the extra prep space and storage that comes with that island. I don't know that I would ever not bring it with me. Down below, this has a pretty generous pass-through compartment, and if you're noticing that rear wall has a couple little finger poles on it, that's areas where you can get to things for service purposes, like for winterizing. You see hookups here for an outside TV, and that little feed plug in the floor so you can run your coax outside. Magnet holdbacks, slam latches, things that are normal today. Open Range was way ahead of the curve on that when this came out. And then you've got a couple little things. Because it is wide body, they had some extra side saddle space right here. and they just didn't waste it. I call that why not storage. And personally, I think I'd put a little tool chest, maybe a little power drill there or something like that. And these things right here. Open Range was the brand that made me such a fan of these like jack leg stabilizer bars. They will take the wiggle and the jiggle out of this thing like nothing you've ever seen. It will feel like it's on a concrete pad when you're done. This is power front leveling jacks, power rear stabilizers, so everything is push button simple. It's got such a cool look to it. I always thought it always looked like a spaceship to me. Now the pin box up front, you're looking at that. If you're inexperienced in the RV industry, go, what the what? What is this thing? Well, Open Range recognized that there's a lot of people out there who enjoy the concept of gooseneck towing on a fifth wheel. So they came up with, at the time, the and I don't even know if anyone does it now, because I don't believe Open Range even does it today, weirdly, a pin box that was capable of being swapped out to a gooseneck adapter without voiding any sort of warranty. Once again, kind of ahead of the curve. I don't know why they didn't keep up with that. And maybe I've missed something on the new ones, but I haven't seen it. Good look again at all the slide awnings we're looking at there, and then just the smart touches that went into these. The drop down door instead of a flip up door, so you can get into your compartment more easily. And around the corner here, a totally separate docking station, so you don't have to open your entire compartment to get to like your water cable docking area, little things like that. Now the underbelly's enclosed. It's insulated, forced air heated. Open Range is the only brand that I've seen rival Jayco in their proven cold camp testing data. Now, well, that being said, Montana does a pretty awesome job themselves as well, and Cougar has proven themselves capable. Just that for a while there, Jayco and Open Range were clocking in the best proven cold camp test data available out there, with similar hot camp test data, of course. Backup camera ready, though I don't see that resumed. Oh, I knew I'd almost miss this. And it's funny, it's like, it was unintentional, but when this got parked for me to do my footage, they parked it right next to this big concrete pylon and light post. This rear corner had a little collision bump. It was not related to when they parked it today, so that's historic. But I'm like, guys, maybe not the best place we could have parked that, because it really looks like we smashed this thing up. But when I look at that, I see that it was, you know, it was addressed. It's cosmetic. You can still see it's got a glitch there, but it's not structural. It's not hurting the RV. They made sure everything was resealed, and that's kind of the thing. If this RV needed something, it got it. It wasn't like, oh, how much is that going to cost me? It's, no, just fix it. And I love seeing these PVC roof membranes on used RVs, because it's proof that they actually live up to their marketing. They stay brighter, they stay whiter, they reflect more sunlight, they require less upkeep. Although, the one trick about like, oh, the roof requires less upkeep or no upkeep, people forget your seals, that doesn't change. When people say roof, what that means usually is just the roof membrane itself. All of these seals, I don't care which RV you're looking at, they all have seals that all need regular care, maintenance, and upkeep. No different than, I don't care what kind of car you're looking at. You've got fluids and regular maintenance items you need to address periodically. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't need done. Maybe it's trickier on an RV because a light on your dashboard doesn't do the thinking for you. But, you know, that's why we set reminders on our phone, guys. Overall, things look all right. That skylight looks like maybe the corners within a year would need just a touch-up bead, and it wouldn't hurt to do it now, but there's nothing wrong with it as it is. So I don't see anything inside or out, upside or down that really scares me. There's that little bump on the rear corner. Everything else looks fine. You know, they added the Max Air kind of vent covers up here. One of them was factory installed. I think that one. The one above the bathroom they added after the fact. That's why they don't match, because one was from the factory and one was aftermarket. Overall, though, I'm just glad they're there. I don't care what color they are. I'm just glad they're there. They could be brown. Doesn't bother me at all. So give us a call over here at Haylett RV. We do hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything in between. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy Haylett camping, everyone. Good Lord, there goes another pair of them. Look at that.